I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Briarpatch After Show here at AfterBuzz TV, and we are once again coming at you live from the inside of my closet, and wherever Keven is, I don't know, but I'm
in the corner.
There you go. He's in the corner, the conspiracy corner.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
there you go.
Of course it's called that.
That was perfect. Well, anyways, I am your host and fellow Briarpatch kid, Brandon Hanna, and you've already heard him, but let's properly introduce him, the conspiracy corner man himself. It's Keven Allen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. I have not resolved the problem that gets me booted offline, but I think this will work.
I sure hope it'll work. Otherwise, I am riding solo, and you're just going to get an entire show of Jake Spivey impersonations. And some of you are going to love it, but others might not. And I just don't want to alienate the audience like that. So, Keven, hopefully your internet can stay in shape here today. But we do have an amazing show for you all. As always, we've got Jake and Raytek's alliance is finally revealed. The details of that, I cannot wait to get through. And Allegra and Jake, they do in fact attend their high school reunion, 20th annual high school reunion. And well, not annual high school reunion. I don't know why I said that. It's been a long quarantine, guys. And the big moment from this episode, just roll with it. Did Gene Coulter kill Felicity? I think he did. And we are going to talk about all of that. And of course, we do have our special segment for you all. Yes, we've said it maybe 3 times now. I'm going to say it one more time. It is Conspiracy Corner with the amazing Keven Allen. And we do have some amazing updates for you on that front. But before we get into all of that, Keven, I do want to hear your overall thoughts on today's episode. I know for me personally, this might have been one of the best of the season so far.
Oh, well, it was definitely one of the most satisfying of the season, like hands down. We finally got everything that we had been asking for all season. We got answers. Like, we know who's working with who. We know what the schemes are. We know who's behind everything. And not entirely. There's still stuff about Cyrus that I'm still trying to figure out. The theories that you guys were bringing up last week about him being a secret mastermind, I'm starting to agree with. But we finally know, as you said, what Jake's plan is. We know who he's doing it with, Raytek. We know that Holder is definitely working with Brattle and could very well be the catalyst for this entire thing. Like, we have a sense of what has been happening on this show, finally. But knowing all this didn't make it any less suspenseful. There's still a lot of tense moments in this episode. And so, yes, it was also one of the best episodes. Easily. Yeah,
there was definitely a lot of tense moments in this episode. We've learned so much about these characters and their allegiances and what's really going on behind the scenes and who knows what. And I'm just gonna go right ahead and let's just get into our first topic for today. Okay. And it's all about Jake and Chief Raytek. We finally learn what exactly their alliance is, and they've been in it together for what seems to be a while now. Where obviously Chief Raytek is running for mayor, and that's all been part of the plan to essentially get this water park built in town. That's the master plan.
Fuzzy on what the master plan is, that it's just a water park. I love that, but it seems like there's a lot to go through for a water park.
Yeah, you know? I've had a lot of mistrust in Chief Raytek this entire season so far, but it does really seem like her and Jake, as she's already said, they do want what's best for the town, and they're using corruption to clean up corruption, it seems, and they're helping each other out. And obviously, Jake has been a part of this all along, trying to make the mayor look bad, make Chief Raytek look good. Just there's so much that makes some sense now that we were so confused on earlier in this season. We're like, oh, that's why he threw that party. Oh, that's why they did this. And that's why he was buying up all the property in Packingtown. And it all seems to come together now.
I made the comment that to myself that I need to go back and watch this series now from the beginning, knowing everything, just to see it all in a new light. Because I feel like everything that's been going on has new context.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Yeah.
And not just with Jake and Chief Raytek, but with a few other players as well. And we'll get into that a little later. But this meeting with Chief Raytek and Jake and Allegra, it kind of leads to this plan to take down Clyde Brattle because, well, Jake's meeting with the senator didn't go so hot.
The point where I thought he was drugged. Like, I mean, he was just so not on his game.
I really thought he was drugged as well.
Yeah, I kept waiting for the reveal that somebody had done something to sabotage it, because that's how it felt. He was sabotaging himself. And no real fault of his own. He just, the wounds opened up and he wasn't in the right position. And I mean, of course, the sit down ends up being like a white collar croquet match, but that's not Jake's area, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, he's obviously still injured from taking that bullet for Allegra. And I was wondering, is that enough to make him act the way he was during that meeting? Or is there something more? Is the bullet still lodged in him? Is it getting infected? Is it causing some sort of poisoning? I don't know. But he seemed pretty fine at this high school reunion that we are going to get into. But before that, I just want to thank everybody watching at home. Thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. We would not be able to do this incredible show without you. So please make sure to like this video, leave a comment down below, subscribe to all the AfterBuzz TV channels on YouTube. It helps out a great deal. And please, please, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave us a positive review over there. It really helps out this show. And well, it helps us keep Keven safe from all the corrupt politicians and police officers that he's unraveling all his corruption on. So yeah, it's really important.
Lord knows I'm not learning any good tips from this show. Everything is just falling apart.
Well, I mean, I would like to imagine you're learning what not to do, Keven.
Yes. Yeah.
And what not to do is you do not want to mess with Clyde Brattle, because Jake, Allegra, and Raytek, they come up with this plan to try to take him down at their high school reunion, and it doesn't go well. It does not. Everything unfolds. You think they're in control of the situation. They handcuff his goons. They lock him in the truck. You think
they locked Holder in the closet. Like,
yeah, which I thought that was so slick. That's immediately when I knew that Chief Raytek had already known that Holder was in on something with Clyde Brattle, and this other police officer was also Chief Raytek's trusted source, where he tricks him into going into the supply closet and he locks him in. That's like when the light bulb went off in my head, or in my hat, as you will. It was
so glad you're wearing the hat again.
Yes, I'm really digging it. This is the new me, I think.
It suits you, man. It's a good look.
Yeah. I'm just gonna have to move down to Texas. Give me a pick. Thank you for laughing at that, Keven, because there just would have been a horrible, awkward silence.
Somebody's got to support you on this,
because I was going into that joke 100%. But yeah, we do get Gene getting locked in that closet, and all this stuff is going down. Brattle doesn't meet where he was supposed to meet. He ends up meeting right there, I guess, next to the punch bowl on the dance floor in the gymnasium,
which he spiked.
Oh, did he? Do you think?
Well, he pulled out a flask. I don't know if he spiked just his or the whole punch bowl, but
that's what
he's sneaking into a high school dance with the punch bowl and some booze. Like, what else is there to do?
I don't know. It seemed to me like he was doing this really quirky, weird thing where he poured himself a cup of punch. He put the cup down, and then he grabbed another cup, and that's when he just poured his flask into that, and he didn't mix it with the punch at all, and he was just drinking it straight out of the cup.
I did not catch that.
It was very I think it was very in character for Clyde Brattle. But I do want to know, what did you think about this plan? Did you think it was going to work, Keven? And also, what did you think about that intense conversation between Clyde Brattle and Jake Spivey?
I should know better than the plan is not going to work. I kept wondering, why are they meeting him in a science room? I felt like that was a little far-fetched to try to get him in this, to invite him to a party, because it was the whole reason they did that was because Brattle loves a festival or a shindig or whatever he said. but then they were going to pull him away from it. I was like, there's no way he's not going to meet in public. So that didn't surprise me that he just showed up unannounced on the dance floor. That's perfectly Clyde Brattle. But they had Holder in the closet, and they had the goons all taken care of. So I had every reason to believe that they were on top of it, to the point where when Clyde said, like, if she comes in here, I'm going to kill everyone in the room. I'm like, you're not going to, though. They've got all your guys. What more can you do? But then Holder somehow crawls out through a rat-infested ventilation shaft and shows up and actually follows through. I did not expect that. And because of that one guy, everything just went up in flames, almost literally. So yeah, that's what I thought. There was a really intense scene, and I knew a conversation between Brattle and Jake was going to be with pins and needles, but I didn't expect everything that went down.
Yeah, it seemed like for our heroes of the show, as you will, everything that could have gone wrong did.
Mm-hmm.
I expected Gene to somehow get his way out of that supply closet, but I did not expect him to succeed in coming through and actually doing his job.
It's so unlike him.
He's so incompetent. He's like really the most incompetent person ever, and we find out that he's actually a contract killer. And it was one line of dialogue that, like, I think it was Chief Raytek said that really mentioned that, like, she's been on him since the beginning, ever since he moved into town, which really, it told me that, like, he's maybe been bouncing around from city to city, town to town, working for Clyde Brattle as a contract killer. And he moved specifically to San Bonifacio as a contract killer for Clyde Brattle. That's the way that I interpreted it. And I think it was like a blink and you miss it maybe type moment. You really had to be paying attention, but that is the way that I took it. And it really kind of blew my mind but it makes so much sense at the same time. Like why his relationship with Lucretia is so strange in the way that it is. He is the most incompetent contract killer in the history of contract killers. But I mean, that's what Chief Raytek calls him. And yeah, I don't know, Keven, am I sharing something you might have missed, or what are your thoughts on
I definitely missed that line. I mean, knowing that he's the car bomber from the beginning, like, that recontextualizes things for me, certainly. I still think he's incompetent, but he gets stuff done every once in a while, I guess. It definitely explained why his relationship with Lucretia is weird, but I still want to know more about her role in all of this, like why she took the bullet for him on the last episodes, so to speak. I want to know, like, okay, so was his relationship with Felicity a very committed scam? There's a lot of his behavior that on the surface is very contradictory. And like, oh God, I forget that lackey's name who kind of called him out.
Sid?
Yeah, well, I think so. I don't know. Brattle mentioned it like 38 times in the top of this episode, or in the van.
Yeah,
Sydney, yeah. Either he's the worst killer or he's the best, but I don't know which one it is yet, because he's either sleeping around with his target and screwing up half the time, or he's playing a very in-depth long con. And I don't know yet, because he still comes off as the fool regardless. But is that all an act, you know? His timing's great, so I got to give it credit in that regard. But yeah, I definitely didn't catch that line about the contract killer. I just assumed he just got real dirty real fast.
Yeah, no, I thought
never thought he was the inside man.
Yeah, that's what I immediately thought too. Maybe when Clyde Brattle recently rolled into town, he enlisted his services. But based on the conversation with Chief Raytek, and then again his conversation with Allegra, it became really clear to me anyways, and I hope I'm not way off, that he's a contract killer. He was ever since day one that he moved into San Bonifacio, he's been working for Clyde Brattle, and the whole being a police officer thing is basically just a front. It's a cover for him, I suppose, maybe for him to get in closer with his targets. But yeah, and let's just get into it. Did Gene kill Felicity? And especially when after Allegra confronts him, it appears so when we realize like we have that scene with AD Singe and Cindy, right? And
Yeah.
that's when they realize, oh my God, both the car bombs, each one had a different kind of explosive, because the first one had this tar smell to it, the second one didn't. And then it's Jake who reveals that the tar smell means that it was C4. And Gene just blew up a school bus and there's that same tar smell. And it makes perfect sense that Felicity was onto him. She was maybe investigating him, realized that he was a contract killer, and that's when he had to take her out. And now I don't think he loved Felicity at all. It's weird to say.
Why would he? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just saying he's a bumbling idiot and he's incompetent. But maybe he really is the best killer.
Okay, maybe it's not that he was playing her, but she was playing him. What if he really was in love with Felicity, like you just said? Like, and he bought a ring and he went so far as to hide it from his wife even after she died. You know, like why have infidelity that you're going to hide from someone just as an act? You know, and then be really committed to it. It's too complicated. But if he was really in love with Felicity and she was onto him and took advantage of that, and she was investigating him and getting closer to him, and he just was wooed by her, and he seems like that kind of guy. If he's the fool, he would easily just be like, oh, someone who's not my wife is into me, I'm down for that. So perhaps, like you said, she was not the original target. He was hired to keep an eye on Jake and to maybe take him out. But once Felicity caught on to that, then he just went ahead and did an impromptu bombing the same way he did tonight with the school bus. Like, he wasn't hired to blow up a school bus, but he did it because that's his MO. I think that's what's happened.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you make some solid points about hiding the wedding ring and just his overall awkwardness with the conversation, with the way he talks about Felicity with Lucretia and everything. And yeah, I mean, I really don't know what to make of this guy anymore.
That would be just such a weird act, you know, to fake. But if he was genuinely into Felicity, but duty comes first and he's not great at responsibility, I could see him being like, okay, well, I gotta cut that cord, you know. And then being sad about it or something. It's so weird that it's not so much that he had the ring, it's that he hid it. Like, why even hold on to it after the fact then? It just, none of that makes sense to me. But where it matters, I think that Dill is absolutely right. I think Allegra called out every single thing, that yes, he was the original bomber. Yes, there was a second one, and his alibi was just convenient for that second bombing. It's him. I think she completely cracked the case.
Yeah, but the second bomb was made out of, it was a different type of bomb. Who do you think might be who's the bomber, I guess?
And that I don't know. I think Allegra called everything right that she could call. Yeah. But as far as who the second bomber is, I'm assuming it's somebody working with Brattle. It's someone on his team who just has a different variety of explosive. I honestly have no idea. I assume it's under Team Brattle, but I can't imagine who else would want to take out the chief of police other than Raytek. And I don't think Raytek is that kind of person. Like you said, she's fighting fire with fire. She's beating corruption with corruption. And while you may not be able to trust her, you can trust her intentions. I really like the line she gave Allegra, saying, Allegra's like, I can't trust you. She goes, I don't even know if I like you, but I need to get this job done. And so that made me go, okay, I can trust your intentions.
Yeah,
So
I feel like I mean, I've been on Team Jake for a while now, hence my get up here for you audio only listeners. If you haven't caught on by now, I'm wearing a cowboy hat and dressing like Jake Spivey for a few
it's a
weeks.
smart cowboy hat too. Like
Oh,
it's a good one.
thank you, thank you. It looks good. It looks good. I even got the beard going a little bit. Jake Spivey, he doesn't wear glasses like I wear, but I need them to see my notes when I do the show, so I keep them on.
Hey, you don't
But
want to flub it like at the top of the episode.
oh no, I would never. I would never. Again, I'd probably. I don't know. Would I take a bullet for Allegra? I don't know.
You're a professional, Brandon. I think if your bullet wound opened up, you would still stick to your notes, and you'd be just fine. You're a
I
pro.
think so. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for your confidence in me, Kevin.
Yeah, sure.
But going back to Gene for a second, I just kind of want to get your thoughts. What do you think about his soda obsession or addiction, if you will?
Before I knew he was a contract assassin who killed innocent people and school buses, I thought it was like an endearing quirk. Like I love this. So he walks through an office and he's like, how are we supposed to get any work done with caffeine? And I'm surprised like not everyone in the office was like, coffee. Just like it's this weird, he doesn't see, for a detective, he doesn't see the obvious thing. So I feel like his caffeine obsession is a delightful quirk that is also a hint of just how not on the ball he is.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And he's also he made that comment earlier in the episode. He's like, I've tried switching to diet. I just don't like the taste of it, or something to that effect.
Well, it is disgusting. I hate diet. Diet's gross.
It's all right.
I can't. I used to have a soda addiction, and I could not switch to a diet.
All right, leave a comment down below, everyone. What are your thoughts on diet soda? I myself, a nice refreshing Diet Coke, straight out of the soda fountain. It just hits different, man. Sometimes you got to mix it up.
Okay. All right.
Kevin's not convinced.
Well, if I'm going to try it, I'll try it out of the fountain. That's a whole other thing.
That's the thing, you need it.
Fountain soda and canned soda do taste different. We all know
you do need the carbonation, but Gene, he seems like a can man to me, which is why you can't trust him.
Yep. That was the clue. That was the clue that was right in front of us the whole time.
It was right in front of our eyes this whole time, and we just missed it. Well, speaking of clues and not trusting people, I think it's about time we get into our special segment for this week. It's Conspiracy Corner, real life tales of corruption uncovered. And we have Kevin Allen here to give you some updates of some of the crooked politicians he's been following and uncovering for weeks now.
Well, on that note, we're throwing it back to something I covered, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago here in LA County. There's not a whole lot of news going on, with the world being on pause. But the public corruption investigation that's been going on in Los Angeles County is still moving along. A couple days ago, I think it was about 4 or 5 days ago, they got Mitch Englander, who I did mention last time. Mitch Englander was a councilman for the San Fernando Valley who resigned at the very end of 2018 last year because of this corrupt investigation, but he was still, part of it. Just as a refresher, he was under investigation for taking bribes in the form of cash, hotel rooms, and expensive meals during trips to Palm Springs and Las Vegas. If you guys have been following the show, you've heard me talk about this, so I'm just going to skip to the new details. Englander has now pled guilty in part of a plea agreement, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and he now faces up to 5 years in prison for these crimes. He pled guilty to the federal criminal charge for obstructing a public corruption investigation and related to those gifts. The court did not immediately schedule a date for Englander to formally enter this plea deal. So it's like still kind of, I don't want to say it's up in the air, but a lot of the details haven't been smoothed out. And that, I assume, goes for the ongoing investigation because, again, he was not the first. He won't be the last. They're still going on this. But that was a big step that they have plea agreements and someone's going to jail. It's only a matter of time before they get the rest.
All right. Someone is going to jail. I feel like, is that the first time, at least in a while in this special segment, where someone is actually getting some sort of justice. I feel like a lot of times you come at us with like, oh, they're still on some paid leave at home, and then I make the joke, well, you can find Keven while you're at home.
Yeah, I guess most of them so far. Like, I got to check in. There was news at San Francisco, like that case moving forward. I forget if they actually booked anybody on that one either. But the news as of late has just been these ongoing investigations are still ongoing. They have not been shut down by coronavirus. But I can only imagine it's slowing things down. But even in this interim, it got booked. That's pretty much been the dominating thing in corruption investigation news is Mitch Englander's sentencing. Or not his sentencing, but his plea to guilty. His sentencing is still to come. Anyway.
All right.
Updates if they come out.
I look forward to them, Keven.
Thanks.
Keep safe during this coronavirus. Make sure you keep your door locked just in case. But Keven does amazing work here, just uncovering real life tales of corruption. It's one of my favorite special segments on any show that I've been on. So I really appreciate the amount of work that you put in every week, Keven. I think it adds another layer to this show. And so thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you speaking on behalf of all of our listeners.
I can do that. The hat gives me power.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Briarpatch kids, but this hat, it makes me your leader. And I can speak on your behalf. All right, today's show has just gone off the rails. That's what happens when Janice and Queen Esther aren't here.
Yeah, they left us in charge. What a terrible idea. Oh, man. I think the Department of Water and Power is now coming after my friends, Brandon. I think. Are you still there?
Who's horrible? I do what? Mine's not doing too well?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I think your lag is finally catching up. For a moment there, I thought, oh my God, DWP found out where his closet is.
Oh,
they're taking him away. They're trying to hurt the ones I love to get to me. Oh, that's so dastardly of them.
Yes, difficulties of doing the show from home, people, but hopefully you can hear me now. So let's just really quickly jump into our predictions for next week's episode. We leave on a huge cliffhanger in this episode. We've got Jake and Allegra. They're handcuffed together. They're in the back of Clyde Brattle's van. No one knows where Chief Raytek is. A police officer's been killed. Gene is still on the loose. Keven, what do you think all of this is leading up to? Because I have no idea.
I don't know, man, because with the exception of Brattle, who somehow everything goes right for him and he doesn't have any issue getting what he wants out of any conversation with any person, I feel like incompetence is the reigning force here. Like I made some comments toward the end of some notes for the end of the episode, and the three that stand out are, what the hell, another bomb? Like, it's just everyone's just like, okay, we'll solve this with a bomb. And despite how much an impact that makes, it's still happening. It's not going down. They're not making food runs with cars at the police station, but they haven't figured out that the bomber's right there the whole time. The fight between Gene and Raytek was just one John Wayne haymaker after the other. I was like, none of you know how to fight, and yet he got the upper hand. I have no idea how he's getting ahead. And the best example of what I'm talking about is this crew that Brattle has that has been running around in this ratchet van is somehow running the show. Like, they are surprisingly effective for just a bunch of hicks and thugs from, I guess they have military background with Jake because of the tattoos. So I got to give him that credit. But man, City does not paint the picture of competence. And yet they infiltrate that dance, no problem. They get the upper hand on the people who already got the upper hand on them first. And they've taken the two big players, chained them up in the back, and they're just going on their merry way. Like, I can't believe they are getting it done. Those are the people who are getting it done out of this entire cast. So my predictions, they just run rampant in San Bonifacio. They just throw them out into that shack where I guess where they've been picking up kids at the border or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
pretty
frustrated by them. I can't even think of how this show's going to go down. I just feel like it's just going to spiral into a mess, just a hole. Not even a mess, just a hole.
Yeah, that sums up my feelings as well. I don't know. I've been saying for weeks now. It's something that Jake said to Allegra a couple weeks ago. That it's him and her against the world, and I still want to see somehow they can find a way to get the upper hand against Clyde Brattle. And I think we're gonna see it happen. I mean, it was not like 2 episodes ago we saw Jake Spivey take out an entire small private mercenary force all on his own, like single-handedly took out a small army. So I'm not putting anything past Jake. Maybe his bullet wound will slow him down, but I don't know, with Allegra, the love of his life there, and they just had their first kiss apparently.
Oh,
So
that's right. How did we not talk
yeah,
about that?
I
That was
don't
a nice
know.
moment.
That was a really really nice moment between the two of them. I
Oh,
love Jake Spivey so much. Sorry,
also,
guys.
shout out to, I wish I knew who orchestrated or arranged that awesome cover. I Can Never Be Your Woman. I loved that. That was amazing. What a great scene that was. Just
Yeah,
because of the soundtrack.
yeah. I wasn't expecting those types of singing chops out of whatever her name is. Annoying former high school student
Becky?
X. I don't.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But yeah, that's my. It's more of a hope than a prediction. But I hope and predict that we see Jake and Allegra get the upper hand against Clyde Brattle. And I don't know. I think we're gonna see either her turn on Cyrus and Cyrus turn on her, and maybe they're gonna have to go on the run for a while. I don't know.
Well,
There's so many possibilities.
I'm glad you brought up that because I felt like her arranging the meeting with Brattle at Felicity's apartment, there was something about that location that made me be like, is she plotting something to get the one up on Cyrus? But now she's locked in the back of the van. So those guys are going to have their meeting without her anyway. And Brattle's going to get what he wants from the senator. The senator's not going to be any help to them. I feel hope is lost personally.
Or here's a prediction. Brattle brings Allegra and Jake to the meeting in handcuffs and it's like, hey, these two tried to kill me last night. What do you do about that, Senator? So
it's such great leverage against the senator too.
Yeah. And maybe he's gonna try to negotiate a new deal. I don't know, but before we start spinning in circles or like going down way too many rabbit holes, I think it's time we wrap things up here for this week.
No, I love that theory. So I'm gonna leave with that.
Okay, yeah, let's leave with that. So Keven, if I don't know, maybe the people from the Department of Water and Power, they're a little nervous to come after you because of the coronavirus. Perhaps maybe some fans want to reach out to you on Twitter or Instagram. Where can they find you?
All right, if you guys want to have my back against the Department of Water and Power, I don't forget how they were even wrapped up into this. You guys can find me on Twitter at Kevin Allen Says and Instagram at Kevin Allen Graham.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BrandonHanna07. And hopefully my internet can stay intact so that you don't think that they're coming after me now. I'm quite all right for now. We'll see you guys.
Okay.
But until next week, we will see you all then. This has been Jake Spivey once more, wearing the hat, and I'm your leader. Thank you very much.
Have a good night, everyone.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.